These are my pictures from 4 years ago. Aside from the Castratovas clothing that I'm wearing, can you see any difference in these photos? Not these two. It's the location. It's very clear that these photos were not taken in Vietnam, but instead were taken in a country named Australia. Australia is a magnificent country with this Australia with astonishing nature alongside with divine cuisine, as well as the welcoming and friendly people that I've met here. And you can go on the street and tap someone's shoulder, and they would turn around and ask, "What can I help you?" Well, I'm not here today to boast and compliment Australia, but instead, I'm here today to tell you about a story that was so memorable to me during my visit in Australia. In 2019, I joined a competition called World Scholars Cup. I think some of you might be familiar with it. For those who don't know, World Scholar Cup, or WSC, is a competition where you join as a team of 3 and compete in a set of events ranging from debate, writing to multiple choice assignments. The main goal is that you can advance to different rounds, from regional round, global round, and to the final round in Yale University in the US. Well, in the summer of 2019, in late May, our team had just finished our regional round in Hanoi. I still vividly remember it being 6 p.m. where the result got announced in a big projector screen like this one. Instantaneously, me and my teammates start jumping up and down and screaming on top of our lungs because we did it. We got into the global round, and our results were better than we have ever expected. Each of us got a minimum of 2 gold medals, and our team even have 2 cups for the best average result. It was like a dream come true. I still remember walking up to that podium shaking and trembling with adrenaline, receiving the medals of my dream. It was a memory so golden that I'm positive I almost made it up. So naturally, seeing how joyful and ecstatic we are for advancing to global round, we decided to give it our best shot and to give it our best effort to achieve the best result in the global round. In World Scholars Cup, there are 5 main subjects. Number 1 being special area, science and technology, art and media, history, and lastly, and social studies. Each of these subjects are given a curriculum where you would do research, or you would read books based on it and gain knowledge through the prompts given by the organizer. And each of these prompts is at least 150 pages long, and it seems like just such an unlimited and unendurable amount of work that we have put into it. But our team and I managed to finish the whole site of World Scholar Cup. It ended up being a total of 20,000 words that we have finished researching in a span of 2 months. Then it came the day where we went to Sydney. We arrived at Sydney's 2 days prior to the event, barely even enjoying the beautiful view there, but instead piling ourselves with piles of books and piles of documents that we need to memorize. The competition itself will last for 3 days, which each day revolving around a main event. The first 2 days went, I would say, not as well as we were hoping for, but we pulled it through. But then the 3rd day, the final day, as people may say, 3rd time is the charm. And as it's the final day, I wanted to give it my all. I wanted to give it my all on this last day of the competition, and I wish that luck was on my side. And luck did. We somehow got into the final round and received number 1 spot and it's eligible for the Yale round. Well, that's only my fantasy. Turns out the 3rd day was unexpected. We stepped into the room where they would announce that we're doing a challenge outside. They're taking things outside where we would walk out of the building, and we're doing the challenge in New South Wales. We are walking along the streets in New South Wales as completing challenge. Well, the twist here is that they are randomizing the teams. We will be teamed up with scholars from all around the world, from different nationalities such as Cambodian, Singaporean in England, or even the Czech Republic. When I met my team, I was taken back. Even though I consider myself quite an extroverted person, but seeing these people that I've never seen before in my life, I got shocked. I felt I felt I felt shy. I felt very shy, and I felt shaken up. And so, after giving a brief introduction to myself, I stayed silent for the whole trip. Then we were given each mission. I volunteered to finish the social studies part. As I have researched for over 2 months and memorized most of the information, I'm almost certain that I could finish it with breeze. I confidently pulled up the paper to see that there were only 2 questions on it. I thought, yes, this is my time to shine. But then turns out, as I start rummaging through my memory of space, there were no exact copy. There were no history of this question ever popping up. The question that they gave us were not in the curriculum that they gave us. And I was struck with horror. I was horror struck. I don't know what to do. I've never seen a question like this before, so I stayed silent. After 10 minutes, everyone have done their job, except me. I tried rummaging through my memory again and again to see if I have researched about this section yet, but no, there were none. A teammate came up to me and asked, "Are you done?" And I shrugged and shook my head. He then said, "Well, have you asked the locals around here?" And at that point, I was shocked. "You can ask the locals?" I replied back. He said, "Yes, definitely. You know that memorization isn't a thing that we support here, right?" And I thought he was mocking me, so frustration and annoyances start to fill inside me. I took 2 months to research everything. I read dozens of books every single day. And as I start to get annoyed with him, I see my teammates walking up to a lady nearby and asking her asking her the social study question. The lady smiled back and gave the answer, and he came back with a smile on his face and confidently write in the answer. It was correct. At that exact moment, I don't feel so smart anymore. I always took pride in being the smart kids when I was in primary and also in secondary. I was a kid that parents would compare the kids with. I was a kid who would ace a test. But now I don't feel smart anymore. Little me always thought that being smart is just acing every test. Being smart is knowing all the math equation, and being smart is memorizing the whole periodic table. But now, even when I did all that research, I'm not feeling smart anymore. Because that question stuck up to me for years until very recently, where I stumbled across a lesson that there are different types of intelligence. There are different types of smartness. And the smartness I adore so much, it's called book smart or exam smart. These books, they deal with situation from an intellectual direction, which means that they took knowledges, facts, and insight from books or from your continuous duration of studying. Well, being book smart isn't 100% bad. It's actually quite the opposite. Being smart in terms of academic knowledge equip you with information that's needed for your near future, as to how to solve a simple algebraic math equation, or how to identify the biology plants around you, or just simply how to speak proper English. But then the underlying idea here is that book smart people are making decisions only based on facts, only based on knowledges, without realizing the current situations happening around them. They're only basing on the knowledge that might be outdated. And so that's why in contrast, there's another type of smart that I want to mention, which is street smart. It's the exact opposite, which is street smart people make decisions based on practical intelligence. They make decisions based on their experience of the social life, their personal experience, and real life experience. Well, in order to compare these two, I would like to make an example. These two characters are Missy Cooper and Sheldon Cooper from a show called Young Sheldon. It's a spin-off of the internationally well-known sitcom named The Big Bang Theory. Well, before we make the comparison of street smart to book smart, how about we get to know them first?
A woman in a doorway.
Anything else?
She's holding her head with her hand.
And what do you think that means?
Wouldn't you rather ask me about trains going to St. Louis?
Good gravy, she's sad, Sheldon, come on!
Oh, she's very upset. I don't know why. Ooh, maybe she wasn't invited to the tea party at the monkey house. Also, she's wearing a belt like you are. Nice going. Very cute. And I'm loving the hair.
A lion sitting in a chair holding a pipe.
Good. But what do you think is on his mind?
How should I know? Maybe he's wondering why he's posing for a silly picture instead of eating a gazelle.
Anything else?
What exactly are we doing here? I thought the purpose of this study was to find out how smart I am.
That's what we're doing. But there are different kinds of intelligence.
Poppycock!
Well, we can clearly see that Sheldon on this side is the prime example of what you would call book smart. He has an IQ of 187, and in the future, he won the Nobel Physics Prize for the discovery of super asymmetry. But then, he cannot even strike a conversation with a stranger, let alone make friends, and he cannot even do simple chores around the house, such as tying his shoes or even cook a proper meal. On the other hand, Missy here, my favorite character, she has a large web of relationships around her, and she's one of the most empathic and sympathetic characters in this whole series. Even though she doesn't have multiple PhD in physics or she doesn't have extraordinary memories, she is able to survive in the life out there. But realistically speaking, nowadays, students are going into a more Sheldon route. We are striving to become academically smart more than socially smart, which means that we're lacking social skill and lacking soft skills. And this is a vital issue. That's why today's talk, we're going to focus on the importances of street smart and communicative intelligence and how barrier breaking it would be. Firstly, street smart is identified as a navigate through life situation in a practical intelligence, not relying on book knowledges, but navigate through life situation through your own experience. They are also street smart people are also understand very well the social dynamics, and thus they are quickly adaptable to new environment. In contrast to book smart people who acquire their knowledges from formal education, street smart is acquired from the exposure to life situation, and thus they become very resourceful and creative. But then with the current situation of people becoming more academically smart and lacking these social skills, we are not exposed to the social world out there. We're not exposed to the current situation out there. We're stuck inside our safety circle. But then if one day we decide to step outside of it, we would be in immediate danger. And luckily for you, there are some solutions to prepare you to, as a student, to gain more life experience, to gain more experience as a whole, to prepare you before you step into the big wild world. You can volunteer, you can travel, you can join outside projects as extracurricular activity. But if we dug deeper into the situation, you can see that all three of these activities have one thing in common, which is the aspect of networking and communication, which is also our second takeaway for today's talk. And I would like anyone here who considered themselves an extrovert, please raise your hand. I can see quite a few. Now, anyone here who struggled to strike up a conversation with a stranger, please raise your hand. Well, yes, everyone who just raised your hand, including me, belongs to the 85% of the population who is afraid to talk to people, especially those that are unknown to us. But then, quite frankly, I believe that the rest 50% is lying, because we as humans struggle to communicate. At least on one occasion, you struggle to efficiently communicate with people because of a limitation, so-called communication barriers. Well, there are many types of communication barriers, but what if I tell you that we as a younger generation has it luckier in terms of communication? When compared to the 20th century, or only just 50 years ago, we are so blessed, we are so fortunate in terms of communication. We're so lucky because due to the advancement of technology, the communication barrier of distance is no more. We're so much more luckier because since the invention of hearing aids, communication aids, and sign languages, the communication barrier of hearing impairment is no more. And we're also so lucky that cultural gap is shortening as global integration is increasing. Thus, the communication barrier of cultural differences is no more. Gen Z, we are the luckiest of the bunch. But then, similarly to the other generation, we still have the most vital type of communication barrier, which is emotional communication barriers. These could be the anxiety to step up and speak. These could be the fear to even face someone and have a conversation with them. Well, it's a puzzling crisis that even I also struggle with. But then, in order to step on this stage today bravely, I have came to a solution. When you're faced with social situation, instead of seeing it as a threat, instead of seeing it as a chance of failure, see it as a chance, as an opportunity for you to share your ideology, to share your belief, to share your innovation. Using the nature of humans wanting to overpower, using the nature of humans wanting to be dominant, sharing these ideas will help you be more powerful. Sharing these ideas will help you gain the confidence you need. And sharing these ideas will boost your self-esteem. Additionally, our mentality view conversation with others as a performance of right or wrong. There is no right or wrong in communication. We often scared to speak up. We're often spook out and back down from conversation because we believe that it's not right to speak about this, or it's not morally correct to speak about this. But there's no such way. The only rule in communication is to deliver your speech efficiently so that the listener can understand what you're trying to say. The two takeaways for today. The first one is go outside. Like literally go outside. Go outside and go beyond the border of the world. Go outside here. Go outside here is to take on challenges and be prepared. Formal education is a tool that equips you with the skills you needed. But in order to be street smart, you have to be on the street yourself. Choose a street where there's diversity to see how people of different culture or different culture approaches each other. The second takeaway is approach. Approach social situation with a zero stress mindset, with an open-minded. We should be open for opportunity, for growth, and for develop ourselves. Do not back down from social situations that requires more strength than you needed. Stay connected and stay curious. Thank you.